This is a breakdown of two acceptance speeches, Oprah Winfrey in 2018 and Jeff Bridges in 2019. Same award, same audience, same type of speaker in terms of being a trained, experienced performer, consecutive years, and I think that checks the boxes of solid quantitative research since the variables to compare speeches side by side are too vast. This is a controlled, repeatable environment. It's the Golden Globes Cecil B. DeMille Award, and speeches are what these award shows are about, and they all start the same, with thanks, gratitude, and a list of names. Could the audience be more sedated and immune? If someone had a point to make, how could they break through the boredom? Oprah's speech is the best example of a cold open in the sense that the audience has no idea where she is going when she begins to speak. I'm stealing this structure from that of the basic creative nonfiction style, also known as that of a feature article. Lead, nutgraph, body, kicker. The lead here is the cold open. That the audience has no idea where she is going is compelling. It's a mystery. Where is she going with this? What is she talking about? The body executes the nutgraph, and the kicker closes in a compelling way that the audience will remember. The cold open can be about anything, really, as long as you tie it into the nutgraph, as in the nuts and bolts of the story that explains what this story is about.
In 1964, I was a little girl sitting on the linoleum floor of my mother's house in Milwaukee, watching Anne Bancroft present the Oscar for Best Actor at the 36th Academy Awards. She opened the envelope and said 5 words that literally made history. The winner is Sidney Poitier. Up to the stage came the most elegant man I had ever seen. I remember his tie was white, and of course his skin was black, and I'd never seen a black man being celebrated like that. And I have tried many times to explain what a moment like that means to a little girl, a kid watching from the cheap seats as my mom came through the door, bone-tired, from cleaning other people's houses. But all I can do is quote and say that the explanation in Sidney's performance in Lilies of the Field, amen, 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 amen. In 1982, Sidney received the Cecil B. DeMille Award right here at the Golden Globes, and it is not lost on me that at this moment, there are some little girls watching as I become the first black woman to be given the same award.
Oh, man. Thank you, Hollywood Foreign Press. This is really a wonderful honor. I'm so challenged up here because there's so many people to thank. You know, it's a collaborative art form here. I've gotta thank some folks. I gotta thank my sweetheart, Sue. My God. Oh, another first-time guy I was so lucky to work with.
It is an honor. It is an honor. And it is a privilege to share the evening with all of them, and also with the incredible men and women who've inspired me, who've challenged me, who've...
Of course she says thank you. It's the point of the event. But she doesn't begin there like everyone else did. She buried it and ran through the names quickly, then used the thank you to pivot into a message about being thankful for truth tellers. This is considered the nutgraph because this is the nuts and bolts of what the speech is about.
I'd like to thank the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, because we all know that the press is under siege these days, but we also know that it is the insatiable dedication to uncovering the absolute truth that keeps us from turning a blind eye to corruption and to injustice, to tyrants and victims and secrets and lies. I want to say that I value the press more than ever before as we try to navigate these complicated times, which brings me to this.
The late, great Michael Cimino, who directed Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. That was his first movie. I can remember going into his office the day before we started shooting, and I said to him, Mike, man, I am sorry, but I think you made a terrible mistake. I'm not feeling this guy at all. I feel so inadequate. I'm giving you late notice, I know, but, please fire me, And he looked at me and said, Jeff, you know the game tag? I say, yeah. He says, you're it. I said, what do you mean I'm it? He says, you are the guy. You couldn't make a mistake if you wanted to. The life of this character is coming through you. It's a done deal. I said, oh, all right. That's a wonderful vote of confidence and a great perspective to look at this thing. And I used it, of course, in that film and all the other movies that I've done, as well as my life, I've been tagged. I guess we all have been tagged, right? We're all alive right here, right now. This is happening. We're alive now. You know what I'm saying? And being in the life of the movies, I kind of look through my life through the filter of movies. I find directors and fellow actors all over the place in my life.
Are you seeing those faces? Do they look like they understand what he's talking about?
Direction from him. That's Bucky Fuller, and Bucky. He's most famous for the geodesic dome, but he made a great observation about these ocean-going tankers, and he noticed that the engineers were particularly challenged by how to turn this thing. They got this big rudder. It took too much energy to turn the rudder to turn the ship, so they came up with a brilliant idea. Let's put a little rudder on the big rudder. The little rudder will turn the big rudder. The big rudder will turn the ship. That little rudder is called a trim tab. And Bucky made the analogy that trim tab is an example of how the individual is connected to society and how we affect society. And I like to think of myself as a trim tab. And all of us are trim tabs. We may seem like we're not up to the task, but we are, man. We're alive. We can make a difference. We can turn this ship in the way we want to go, man. Towards love, creating a healthy planet for all of us. So I want to thank the Hollywood Foreign Press for tagging me. And I wanted to tag you all. You're all trim tabs. Boom, tag, you're in. Thank you.
What I know for sure.
This is the body of the structure.
Speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have.
The Nutcraft is about gratitude for truth tellers.
Inspired by all the women who have felt strong enough.
Here, she dives a little deeper about some truth tellers.
Shared their personal stories. Each of us in this room are celebrated because of the stories that we tell. And this year, we became the story. But it's not just a story affecting the entertainment industry. It's one that transcends any culture, geography, race, religion, politics, or workplace. So I want tonight to express gratitude to all the women who have endured years of abuse and assault because they, like my mother, had children to feed and bills to pay and dreams to pursue. They're the women whose names we'll never know. They are domestic workers and farm workers. They are working in factories, and they work in restaurants, and they're in academia and engineering and medicine and science. They're part of the world of tech and politics and business. There are athletes in the Olympics, and there are soldiers in the military. And there's someone else, Reese Taylor. A name I know, and I think you should know too. In 1944, Reese Taylor was a young wife and a mother. She was just walking home from a church service. She'd attended in Abbeville, Alabama, when she was abducted by 6 armed white men, raped and left blindfolded by the side of the road, coming home from church. They threatened to kill her if she ever told anyone. But her story was reported to the NAACP, where a young worker by the name of Rosa Parks became the lead investigator on her case. And together, they sought justice. But justice wasn't an option in the era of Jim Crow. The men who tried to destroy her were never persecuted. Recy Taylor died 10 days ago, just shy of her 98th birthday. She lived, as we all have lived, too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men. For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up.
And here's a meme.
Their time is up. Their time is up. And I just hope that Recy Taylor died knowing that her truth, like the truth of so many other women who were tormented in those years, and even now tormented, goes marching on. It was somewhere in Rosa Parks' heart almost 11 years later when she made the decision to stay seated on that bus in Montgomery. And it's here with every woman who chooses to say, "Me too."
Here's another meme.
And every man who chooses to listen. In my career,
The final piece of the cold open structure is the kicker, and this is Oprah's.
on television or through film, is to say something about how men and women really behave, to say how we experience shame, how we love and how we rage, how we fail, how we retreat, persevere, and how we overcome. And I've interviewed and portrayed people who've withstood some of the ugliest things life can throw at you, but the one quality all of them seem to share is an ability to maintain hope for a brighter morning, even during our darkest nights. So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
That's my breakdown of Oprah's cold open. I hope it's helpful. I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm Cam Derry. Have a nice day.